Hello. Good morning to those of you in the East Coast of the United States or anywhere in the United States. Good evening for those of you in China and Indonesia and parts where it's nighttime. My name is Bob LeVine. You probably know that. I am the founder and CEO of University Consultants of America. This is kind of a start-off webinar for our 11th grade students and families. We want you to know what's about to happen. We're going to go through a lot of stuff, but we also want to answer your questions. So look at the bottom of the screen and you'll see the words Q&A. You will also see the word chat. Use either one, but as we go through, type in your questions and we'll answer them at the end. Can't break up the flow in the middle of it, but use the Q&A or the chat function and we'll try to answer your questions specifically. Okay. Now I'm going to start off with some of our expectations. It is important to understand what the relationship should be, and to the extent that my opening remarks seem a little bit, I don't know, rough, forward. I'm not commenting on you. I'm commenting on the people who just finished everything. You see, if you don't follow directions, things don't go well. So we want to kind of explain to you how to make things go really well, because when you do, things do go really well. First thing to understand is that we do have some expectations. We expect you to be respectful of us. We expect you to be responsive of us, and we should be responsive to you too. We expect you to be proactive, meaning you shouldn't be expecting us to hold your hand while you walk across the street. We're not babysitters. We are professionals. Think of us like a doctor, not like editors or English teachers. As Bill has said, and maybe it's not the best way to put it, we provide a personal service. We're not your personal servants. It does you a disservice for us to try to hold your hand and babysit and chase you. You're about to go out of the house, across the country or across the world, to an education where you're all by yourself. Treating you like a child now is not the way to do that. So we're going to treat you like an adult. We want you to treat us like adults. And essentially, to those who wonder, hey, what's going on? Why haven't you contacted me? Why haven't you contacted us? We're going to have a lot of contact with you. We're sending you lots of stuff. You have the opportunity. You paid for a service. For those of you who wonder where we've been, I'm going to ask that of you, because there are people on this call right now who have contacted us almost weekly, sometimes 7 times a day. And I've had conversations with some of our students in your class for over 2 hours at a time, 3 and 4 times. And if you're not getting that, it's here for you. Now, we will follow you up. We will chase you down if we have to. But please don't think that we're here to be your babysitters, because we're not. And to kind of show you this, I want you to see something. Now, this is our website. One moment, let me find it here. Hey, I think I know where our website is. Okay. I want to show you one of the things that we have up there. We must work as a team. And notice this. We reserve the right not to work with you. Just like you can decide not to work with us, we can decide not to work with you, and we do it every year. We need to work together. That's how it works. And by that, I don't mean just us. I mean you and UCA, your parents, your high school if possible, everybody. This is a team. This is your team. And we really want your best. And speaking of best, in the last 2 days, 2 of our students achieved Yale University. One of them achieved Harvard, and we're waiting on an MIT today. We expect that to happen. I hope. Fingers crossed. Good things can happen. And it's not just about the top named schools, but we'll get to that. So just remember, your procrastination is not our emergency. We're humans too. There will be times when we make mistakes. There will be times when we need some time off. Just kind of follow everything and everything's wonderful. Don't follow everything, not so wonderful. A couple things to understand. Keep an open mind. There's a lot about this you don't know yet. And people always say, oh, I wish I knew this last year. Well, I'm just glad you know whatever. There's a lot that we're going to tell you. We're going to try to keep it from being overwhelming. Number 2, please follow directions. Please, please, please. Make our life easier, make your life way easier and way better, and just follow directions. Number 3, ask questions. We're going to send you a lot of material. Some of it will be generic, some will be personalized, but you're going to get a lot, and you're going to see a lot of it today. But the best way this works is not just that we present things, and we have a protocol on how to do that, is that we answer all your questions and inform you and train you and assist you. In fact, every year we give out awards. If I can find one here, my favorite award of all time. Oh, here you go. Get that? See, books on the bottom, must be education. UCA on the back. Oh, yeah. Our favorite award every year, we call it the Stalker Award. Yeah, people who bother us constantly. The more you bother us, the more we can help you. Can't help you much if we have to chase you. So if you want to get a Stalker Award, go for it. Does it bother us that we talk to you so much? Once in a while, for about 10 seconds. Then we get over it and we're like, yay, it works. And it totally works. Look, there are no guarantees about your success and about your results. Anybody that tells you there's a guarantee is a liar or a fraud or a criminal. We don't do it that way. There are no guarantees, but I can make you a promise. If you want to do this well, we'll treat you as well as we treat our own children, and probably better, because my daughter didn't really listen to me. And here's how it works. The people who work more with us just do better. It's just how it works. In terms of work, to the extent that you are not very familiar or it's not your common practice to use email, use email. For those of you who don't live in the United States, you'll use WhatsApp or WeChat or something else, Telegram. Here's the deal. The U.S. universities use email. It is something you're going to have to get used to. It's going to be something you're going to have to monitor. And there's a skill set to it. It allows us to give you better answers, more complete, just by this functionality of the thing. Use email. Avoid the other texting things. And a note for students and parents. We work for the students. You are our clients. There are times every year, and I'd say about 5% of our students every year, we are asked, can you please not tell mom and dad? If a student says to us, please keep this confidential, we will, unless it's a crime. If you're about to commit a crime, we have to do something. But the relationship that we have with you is confidential. If mom and dad know something's up, we are likely to say, okay, we talked with your student. Don't worry about it. It's really okay. And we've asked the student to speak with you when they're ready, but it's fine. So they don't worry. For the students, we're likely to say, okay, you're fine. When you're ready, you might want to say this. And if you want our help, that's fine. But here's the thing. If you need safe house, we are there. Whether it's grades, whether it's family problems, whether it's gender identities, anything. Like I said, if it's criminal, not so much. But anything else, we are here for you, because I don't want you to crap out. You just cannot fall apart. So please understand, we will keep your stuff confidential. Okay. Now let's talk about the kind of stuff you're going to get from UCA throughout this. I want you to understand the idea of comprehensive. We're going to try to give you everything. Think of us as the #1 place to ask questions, the hub of your effort, the driver's ed teacher when you're learning how to drive a car. But let me tell you what's generally involved. There's a lot more specifics, but generally we will help you select colleges. Now, this is a process that changes throughout the year, even right now with the 12th graders, even today, this morning. What about this school? What about that school? What about that school? The list just changes. You're going to learn more about the schools. You're going to learn more about yourself. Things change, but we'll help you with that. And it's not just the usual suspect schools you see at the tops of the list, the ones you hear about all the time. Nope. There are over 2,000 universities in America. We don't recommend them all, but we do recommend like 250 US universities. We can also help you with the UK or Canada or anything that speaks English, but clearly there's a special spot in our heart for US universities. And there's a lot of them. It's not just Harvard and Stanford and MIT and Yale and Princeton and whatever. There's easily 100 schools that are just as good as my alma mater, which is Harvard. It's got to be the right fit. And I can't express that to you enough, but we're going to help you select colleges. We're going to help you with essays. It's not unlimited. You can always buy more than what's in your program. We have designed what we're providing because we know that's what most people need year to year. But on essays, it's going to go from brainstorming to outlining to the whole process. And it's a different process for every essay because every essay has a different structure and a different purpose. We'll explain a little bit of that today. And as we move forward, we'll explain more, but we're going to help you with essays. We're also going to help most of you with interview preparation. If you're in a premier program or universal program, or you are an international student, interview preparation is part of your package. And it's not something you just snaps your finger. Oh, my interview's tomorrow. What do we do? There's several parts to it. We'll explain as we get further down the road what those parts are, but it doesn't happen in one day or even 1 week because we need the information to settle in so you are entirely comfortable. And you will be. Our all-time record for college interviews, 2 students, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Those are fun. No, it's not fun. 8 minutes. That's not fun. You'll start to be entirely comfortable. This is one of the reasons why we want you to address us by first name. I am Bob, Bill is Bill, Andre is Andre, Amy, Emmy, Erme. A lot of A sounds in our group. But we want you to be comfortable. We also want you to be well prepared for test preparation. We're going to oversee that. If you need a tutor, and most people need tutors, we'd be glad to introduce you to several options that match you in the way you like personalities and match you in the way they teach. Everybody learns differently. I want to make sure that the way they teach is the way you learn. We will help you understand the cost-benefit analysis. We'll explain how scholarships and grants and financial aid and merit aid and all that stuff works. There's a lot of work for the outside scholarships. That's not the best way to save on the cost side of the cost benefit, but we will help you with that. But we're not doing your legwork to go find the little itty bitty scholarships everywhere. Nobody can do that. It doesn't work that way. And one thing I want to impress upon our students, and that is this. In high school and before, your teachers gave you due dates for when you turn in your work. Your paper's due on Friday. What colleges give are not due dates. They are deadlines. They're the last opportunity, not the only opportunity, not the preferred opportunity. Deadlines are drop dead dates. That is not the same as a due date. It is something you're really conditioned to go in the wrong way. We're going to give you deadlines and we're going to give you days to hit to optimize your chances. Wait until the last minute, it usually doesn't work. That's some stuff. And now we're going to go to some things that you're going to get from us. You're going to get every month newsletters. Now you've been getting some newsletters. They're going to be every month now. This is going to be towards the first week of the month. It's kind of when I get around to updating them and sending them. Read them, please, 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 please. And I'm a little bit, because most people don't. That's why I'm telling you now. In fact, our open rate on our newsletters is at an all-time high, 49%. 50% of you aren't even looking at the stuff. We do it for a reason. Here's the reason: to answer your questions before you even know you have questions. They're not that long. Read them. It's going to really help. And now, new since last year, in the middle of the month, we're sending bulletins. To differentiate, the newsletters are things that are very specific to our service and to our clients. The bulletins are more general things, but there's a lot of information that's going to help you. We're going to give you articles on things that are relevant to the time that you get them. Like the newsletters. Can you open them, please? We also have webinars. If you can make it, you should make it. Watch them. If you can't, they're recorded. Ask for the link. They're there to help you. I know it seems like a lot of stuff, but just so you know, last year, we did well over 75 webinars. There's a lot of stuff we're giving you, and we want you to see it for a purpose. No, you're probably not going to watch 75 webinars, but whether it's something that we're presenting to you now or something you have a question to, there is some video material available. A lot of it's already up on our YouTube channel, University Consultants of America, in YouTube. I want to check it out. And the webinars are going to kick up to more monthly. We have monthly check-ins, just like this. Articles. We have a lot of articles. How many articles do we have? I don't know. Let's take a look. Published articles? I think the number is like 185. You want information? We've got information. See them all? 185 articles. Stuff for you. Stuff that's published in the real world. And we have white papers of stuff that is not published in the real world. There's a lot of written materials we have for you. You will get training videos as soon as we make it pretty, just so you have a sense of what things look like. We're putting together a handbook only for our clients. Here's a sense of how much stuff we can give you. This is the draft of the handbook. It's going to be in prettier format. I don't know if you can see the bottom left corner, but it's 105 pages. Let's see if we can scroll a little bit so you get a sense. This is a draft, but it'll be searchable. It'll be in order. You can have all kinds of stuff. And frankly, if you can't sleep, well, that's a good one. Again, giving you a sense of all the materials that we have for you. This is an incomplete list of stuff. Newsletters, bulletin, articles and blogs, webinars, seminars, tutorials, a guide on how to do college research. We'll talk about that. An assignment, a spreadsheet, a guide to how to take a tour. If you're athletic recruiting, find parent questionnaire, an idea generator. Just take a look. You're going to get guides for how to do the Y essay. In fact, there are 2 of them. You're going to get instruction sheets for every essay. You're going to get samples for every type of essay. You're going to get an editing guide, a list of our pet peeves. Please read that one. That'll make us nuts. Things you shouldn't do because everybody does. How to do UCAS, which is the UK. A tutorial on interviews. We're going to show you the report forms. We're going to give you a mock interview with a stranger with a debrief. How to do recommendation letters. Teachers are very important in this. Sample recommendation letters, blah, 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 blah. It's quite literally, at least it feels like it, seemingly limitless. I guess maybe it's not literally limitless, but you're going to get a lot of stuff. Now we're going to kind of explain the timing. And remember, I see a couple of people are doing it. Ask questions in Q&A and in chat. Let's talk about the timing. We're going to kind of go from big picture to small picture. We'll start with the idea that I call seasons. There are seasons to a year and there are seasons to an admissions effort. Up until the end of grade 11, let's call it June 1 for most of you. We call it the pre-season. You're not completing applications. You're putting together all the stuff that might go in the applications, what you might call a resume. It's not really a resume. But all the things that go in there, we're working on. Things like your extracurriculars, your grades, your test scores. All of this happens basically through grade 11 is preseason. The moment grade 11 ends is the work season. This is when we start the work, basically from June 1 to January 1 or 15th. We're going to work, coinciding basically with the first semester of grade 12. Then the applications basically close, and there's another season, the waiting season. This is the worst. Parents get frustrated while you do the work. Just hold on until after the work is done. And all you can do is listen to the clock go tick, tock, tick tock, for months. Quite literally, by beginning of March, people go nuts. Just not good. Please just tell me now. I don't care if you just reject me. Just tell me now. Tell me now. And it's worst for the parents. Look, if your son or daughter messes up your holiday, which they might for procrastinating, assume that's going to happen. Maybe in February, find a way. If there's no quarantine, take a vacation, go do something fun, get healthy, whatever it is. It's going to be bad in the waiting season. And then there are 2 decision seasons. Decision season 1 and decision season 2. Decision 1, that's when the colleges make their decisions. And it's going to be weird. You're going to get into schools you didn't think you can get, and you're going to get rejected by schools that your stupid friend who's not as smart as you got into. How did that happen? It's going to be that way, even within the same day. Highs, lows, highs, lows. The American system is very subjective. But that season is going to happen basically in March. Then in May, that's the postseason, because in April is decision season 2. That's when you make your call. And that is our goal. Everything we're doing shoots towards April of grade 12, because that's when you have all your offers. That's when you know the most about the schools. That's when you know the most about yourselves. And that's when you make your decision. And it's not easy. We want it not to be easy. We want you to be paralyzed with too many options. And that happens most of the time. I mean, most of the time. You'll have so many good options. You're like, what do I do? Tough problem to have, real first world problem there. That's our goal. And then in May, in the postseason, everybody's happy. Yay. We'll ask you for reviews because you're in a good mood. But we're not done with you. We're going to help you over the summer get acclimated to school. It's really different. We're going to send you some advice, and we want to talk to you after you get there. We want to make sure everything's okay. You're away from home, different things going on. We're here for you. And for those of you who are interested, we have partners who really help with the college to career transition. We want a lifetime relationship. You really do. That's the fun part of this. It's our community. But in terms of the scheduling, right now it's preseason. The work season is June to January 1. Then you wait. Then they decide, you decide, and then all is well. You'll survive. It'll be fine. Just let us lead you through the valley of the shadow of admissions death. Now, that's a seasonal idea. I do want you to understand how your high school is going to address things too. They have their own thing. For the most part, they haven't really talked to you yet because they're dealing with the 12th grade kitty cats that they have to wrangle to get everything done. Okay, that's going to change in January. They're going to start to meet with you. It's just a start. They really don't know you. They've known all the prior classes. They don't know you yet. So it's start in January, maybe February. There'll be a meeting and it's a get to know you. They'll talk about some processes. You probably won't get a lot out of that meeting. There are ways to let your counselor know in advance what you're thinking and to help them help you. We want to give you that advice, but understand that they're going to start looking at you in January, maybe February, and then it's going to go kind of quiet again until the end of grade 11, in which case they may ask for a survey, ask you to get your teacher recommendations done, a couple of things, and then for the most part, they go bye-bye for the summer. Then they come back in August, and it's almost like the devil has taken them over. They're breathing fire because they got to get you working. They got to get you working. It's just damage control for them. And they may say some things that just seem odd or weird or mean. It's because they're trying to work all of you to get everybody in line, not just you specifically. So if they say some things that seem weird, if they say some things that seem wrong or evil or not appropriate and why me? It's not because of you. It's because of everybody. Let us translate for you, because I don't want you to go storm the Bastille. Do not grab a pitchfork or a torch and burn the school down. The school can help you. Your high school can help you a lot. They have relationships. They have connections. They make recommendations. Let's work together. And they'll look at your main essay, the personal statement. It's the only one they'll look at. Yeah, you're going to write a lot of essays. And it seems that counselors and parents only care about one of them, even though, I don't know, Stanford has 9. They're going to look at this essay. They're going to criticize it. Please don't freak out. They have to. Without constructive criticism, well, what happens if you don't get into any good schools? Somebody's going to get blamed. And they may say some things that make absolutely no sense because they got to say something. I have seen everything from, this is good, make it great, not very helpful, to, I love your last paragraph. It's the best final paragraph I've ever seen. Can you make it longer? Weird stuff. So they're going to comment, and they're going to have their own internal deadlines. Many of them are like right now for the 12th graders, but follow the deadlines, work with them. The more you work with them, keep them advised, the happier they are about you, the more they like you, the more they'll help you. Literally making the call to universities and saying, this is the one you should look at. Anyway, we're going to go through the months in a little while, but I also want you to know that we have our own schedule, and it will start in January. If you have not yet been assigned a client manager, a UCA professional to be your supervisor, you will. It'll be next month. Usually I like to get to know people to get started, and then we move over to client manager who supervises your team. You'll be working with a team. You'll get to know probably almost all of us. And there are a lot of people that you'll never see. We have a balance of people who know you well so that we can advise, brainstorm, avoid bias. But we have people who don't know you at all, evaluating you in an interview or your essays so that we can see you with fresh eyes. So you get the balance of all that. But the client manager's job is to make sure you're on top of things. Okay? That's their thing. Keep you going. We have other managers watching you. You're not going to see them. We have managers over every essay. We have managers over interviews. We have managers over college research. We also have 2 separate databases that interact to watch you. But the client manager is the human who's assigned to you. And that doesn't mean you've lost the great almighty Bob or Bill or anybody. It's a supplement. It's just somebody to keep you focused. It will make sense. It's a better system than just one counselor or consultant per student. But you'll get that. You'll get used to it. Don't worry if you see that. You're not being pushed off. You're being pushed forward. All right, so let's talk about how admissions really works. This will make sense to the left part of your brain, and the right part of the brain might go, nah. In a year, you'll go, oh, you were right. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Okay, we're going to keep it kind of simple. Public universities and private universities evaluate students differently. We've talked about this. Here's the deal. Public universities evaluate students very much like, computer would. Around the world, it's a qualifications thing based on hard numbers. And basically, public universities, no matter what they say, are going to look at your hard numbers, your transcripts primarily. If SATs and ACTs are available, fine. It's going to be basically computerized. That's how it works. The private schools are different. And this is what makes everybody misunderstand the American system. The private schools come from a different place. They want the best possible education. The public schools are designed to educate as many as they can pretty well, but it's about more, not better. The private schools are about better, and despite the fact that they each present education in entirely different ways when you get there, what they're looking for in a student is not always the highest scores. In fact, it's seldom the highest scores. That's just a starting point. The starting point is your grades and your test scores and maybe your activities. But they're looking for you as a person. They're looking for your contribution, because the greatest asset they have on campus are students. There are more of you, and you'll interact with each other better, deeper, more often than you will with any class or any teacher. So they see you as an asset, and the question is, are you a contributor? Are you a catalyst? Or are you cancer? They're looking for a person, which is why we have so many pieces, so many essays, recommendation letters, reports from the school, interviews and interview reports. They're looking for a human being. And that's entirely different. You'll start to see why, but it's kind of an all or nothing thing. The process is called holistic, which means entire person, whole person. And I'm going to show you the holistic method right now. So let me pull it up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Harvard interview report form. It is the same grading scale used at Harvard in same areas, and basically it's the same one that most of our best schools use. Duke is a little different. They have 6, but most of them just do it this way. I'm going to simplify it. They're going to cut you into 3 pieces, evaluate each one, grade each piece, total it up loosely. What are the pieces? Academics. No kidding, it's a school. Non-academic stuff, non-intellectual stuff. Harvard has 5 words, but is basically anything that's not brain-based. Who you are as a human being, the personal qualities. This comes from the subjective written pieces, followed by an overall. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how it works. But even more specifically, this is how it works. At the beginning of the application, there will be some raw data about you and your family and your demographics, some raw data about your school and your grades and some test scores, list of activities. The job for you is just stay in the game in that first part. Just be a good candidate. Be someone that they can teach. And people are at all different levels and different subjects. It's not always a high thing. No, it doesn't work that way. Just stay in the game. Avoid what I call the head scratch. Why do you do that? I don't get it. If they pause or have any doubts, you're done in a competitive environment. Just stay in the game. Then, with your essays, charm them. Make them happy. This is much more like dating than you can ever believe. Quite literally, the admissions people are the gatekeepers to a community, and it's a relationship they're trying to create. The concept is often called reader love. It's a moment when somebody just falls in love with you. I like her. They have to fight for you amongst 40 other admissions representatives. That's what happens. You would think it's all about the pieces. It's not. Not even all about you. It's all about the person reading you. They're the decision maker. This is not grammar. This is not editing stuff like an English paper. This is sales. Even if everything's terrible, if you get picked, I'm happy. Now, it won't be terrible because everything's designed to get them to say yes to you. But essentially, this is a process that is very human. It is not random. It is subjective. The only thing that is random is which people will be assigned to read your file. Why is it random? Because people change jobs. In fact, in admissions, it's only about 3.1 years that they last at a school. And they rotate around in different jurisdictions. They're assigned to parts of the world. And they have what are called second readers, another person to make sure they didn't go rogue. And here's how random it can be. Back in the day when they had manila folders, they used to stack the manila folders on a shelf. And when the second readers came in, they just grab one. That's random. We never really know who's going to read you. Everything else is subjective, meaning human, meaning not black and white, meaning it's not that easy to predict. There are some people who write amazing essays for one school and not as amazing for schools that they like better. And guess what happens? Better leads to better results. And I want to show you the actual common application because people freak out about this. So we're going to spend a moment just to show it to you so that you've seen it. All right. The common application is the most prevalent application that you will use. Some colleges have their own application. Some use a different one that's dying on the vine. UC has its own for that system, but basically you're going to see this one, and this will be your primary thing, at least for the US. Okay, there are 5 tabs. Don't worry about 5 tabs. We're only going to worry about 2 of them because 3 of them really aren't relevant to an application. Here, I'm showing you financial aid resources. Kids, you want some room? Show this page to your parents, because when you put your colleges in here, they have jump pages that will show you what each school talks about when it comes to financial aid. So if you need a few hours, show this page to mom and dad. Then we have the college search. This is how you put schools into it. And you can put up to 20 schools into the Common App. No, we're not going to apply to 20 schools, 10 plus or minus, depending on workload. But here's how you do it. You type in the name, and it's like, hey, look at that. There's Harvard. You'll notice a check mark because it's already in there, but it'll be a plus sign. Just click it. So all this college search does is add stuff. Dashboard. Dashboard gives you a little bit of information. The best purpose of this is to take something off. Let's say you have no interest in Seton Hall. We're going to remove it. Say goodbye, Seton Hall. Are you sure? So financial aid is just the money thing. College search puts them in, dashboard takes them out. If you really want to have fun, put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out. You're going to get emails from the colleges every time you put something in. Just saying. The 2 that matter are called Common App and My Colleges. Okay? We're going to go through both. My Colleges is the supplement. This is the piece that is specific to a particular university. Common App goes to all of the universities to which you apply, meaning everything in Common App will go to each of the universities listed in My Colleges when you click submit. So this is generic and this is specific. Let's go through Common App so you don't have to be afraid of it. It starts with your profile, your name, and I get younger every year doing this, your sex, gender identity if you wish, your date of birth. See, I'm going to be 2003 next year. Yeah, that's actually my birthday if you want to send presents. Your address, contact details, demographics, geography, language, citizenship. Really, this isn't that hard. You can do this. Look, it's designed for teenagers. You could be eating dinner, watching TV, texting, or WhatsApping and still get this stuff right. And the next part is family, mom, dad, siblings, same generic stuff. Yawn. Education. Now we're getting into high school. For those in British-based schools, they call them secondary schools, most recent secondary or high school. Basically, you should know how to answer these questions. They're not that hard. There is a place in here to put your grades, your 12th grade coursework, your honors, if you have any, academic, intellectual honors. They don't have to be necessarily school-based, and we'll guide you through all this. Then there's testing. Guess what that is? SAT, ACT, that kind of stuff. Subject tests, place to put it in there. Next is a list of activities. You might consider it a resume. It's not a resume, and very few schools want a resume. Don't ask us to edit a resume. It's a total waste of time, and we're going to charge you double because it's a total waste of our time and yours. The way they do this is to create a structure that works for the readers. So you have up to 10 activities you can list here in the Common application, and they're basically drop downs. Take a look. Pick one. In this case, I just happen to pick varsity swimming, but I could have been on track because I did that too. You have 50 characters to describe your position. That's not so bad. The word president doesn't have that many characters, if that's what you are. The name of the organization gives you 100 characters. This is the tricky part. Describe the activity in 150 characters, which is like 40 words. You might be doing it for 10 years. You get 40 words to describe it. There is an art and science to how to do this. They'll ask for your grade, participation, when during the year, how many hours per week, how many weeks per year. Do you intend to participate in something similar in college? Probably yes, because otherwise it's not very relevant. But anyway, that's where you put your non-intellectual stuff. Then your writing. Well, this is the main essay, the big scary essay. It's known as the personal statement. You're going to write it and then paste it in here. And in here you see They'll tell you how close you are. If you do have some problems in discipline, it goes here. I'm hoping we don't. And this is a place called additional information. This is not more of the same. They've designed the application for what they want. You have 10 activities. Don't give them number 17 and 18 and 19 and 20. They don't care. This is for problems. We'll explain why. In most cases, you're going to leave this blank. But here's the deal. Here's a Common App. Profile, you should know you. You should know your family. You should know your high school and your test scores. You should know your list of activities. You write the essay, boom. It's really not that bad. We'll give you a guide on how to do this and lead you through the path. But this is what it looks like in my colleges. Let us assume that you want to apply to, I don't know, Stanford. And each one of these is written differently. The first page is a bunch of contact and deadlines and stuff like that. But as you see below it, there are some questions. And essays are hidden in these various places. At the beginning, most of them are pretty straightforward. In this case, Stanford then asks some short questions. What is the most significant challenge society faces today? 50 words. Yeah, 50 words. 50 words. There's another one, 50 words. Another one. Another one. That's like 5. Then there's essays. Look at that. 250. Another 250. Another 250. And each school is different. They're just all different. Harvard doesn't care to the same degree. They have a lot fewer. Basically have one more required and then an optional one where you can upload something up to about 650 words. And that's kind of how it works. So what happens after you finished everything? This is where you submit the information with the Common App and whatever. Now, the cool thing about this application, there are a lot of helpful things over here, and they are very, 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 very good at answering questions in email and the like. It's not hard, but there is an art and science. We'll get you there. I just wanted to show it to you. So now you've seen it. You don't have to worry. It is usually what you do not know that is the most worry. Okay? All right. I did mention SAT, which also means ACT and subject tests. This year for the class of 2021, there's a lot of tests optional. You will probably have test optional in the future. That does not necessarily mean test blind. If you can take a test and stay healthy, you might want to do it. Why? The entire application is an opportunity to impress them. You have an opportunity to impress them. Look, if you get a perfect score, they may call it test optional. If you're showing a 1600 SAT, they're going to see it. They're going to like you. Now, whether we choose to include your scores in your application or choose not to file the scores is a decision we make after we've got all the scores, and it's a decision that is different from one school to another. We'll get there, but yes, take SAT or ACT, take your subject tests. We can help you put together a schedule, but don't run away from it. If it turns out it doesn't happen, it'll be okay. Take the shot. Extracurriculars. Now is the time to go deep. And the cool thing about UCA, at least in my opinion, one of the cool things, is that we are a community. We believe in being transparent and doing group events and getting everybody to know everybody. If you don't want to, that's fine. But it's really helpful. So when it comes to extracurriculars, I'll tell you about a conversation I had yesterday with a guy who was talking about doing a project that had to do with selling some art and giving the money to charity. Are you limited to the people in your high school? It's called the internet. You might want to look at it. We're on there now. We have over 1,000 former students. That's not hyperbole. It's over 1,000, plus their families, plus people we know in the industry, plus. You can expand what you're doing and quite literally make a worldwide impact. You can meet our other students, our former students. You can get together. You can create organizations and companies. You can create worldwide connections. We're here for that. You want our help? We'll help. You don't ask? Got to be proactive. But in terms of extracurriculars, I want to kind of explain the 4 factors they use to evaluate the non-intellectual stuff. These are easy. You'll hear it again. You've probably heard it before. Number 1, how long have you done something? For example, yesterday we had a boy going through his activities list, and he says, well, I started playing soccer on the school team in 10th grade. Is that the first time you played soccer? No, I played on a club team. Your club team's not listed. How do they know? How long have you been playing soccer? Because according to your application, it's 2 years. I've been playing for like 12 years. They might want to know that, because how long you have done something is important. Number 2, how well you've done it. First place is better than last place. Kind of how it works. Starting something and doing something is better than participating or being a member. It doesn't do much. Number 3, making an impact. This is not just absorbing stuff for your own purposes. This is reaching out to others. Not just catching the ball, but throwing and passing the ball. It's helping others, and they look at this on a geographical scale. That's why I suggested to that young man, you might want to look beyond your high school. And the 4th is originality. If you do the same thing as everybody else, why do they necessarily need you? Everybody thinks there's a checklist on how to get from here to there. There isn't. We will work with you individually to enhance that non-resume resume of extracurricular activities. But the 4 factors are how long, how well, how far of an impact, how original, innovative, creative is it. I just wanted you to know that. You will also get help with essays, and there are a lot of essays. There will be steps. We're going to break it into pieces. We're going to have you do things like a speed draft that you've never done before. It's going to be weird. It's important. Follow directions. And teacher recommendations. We can help teachers edit recommendations. We don't write them, and we don't even submit them. So the teachers get the call over the final form. They're so important, we only charge you half for that. We want you to let us take a look at them. Why? The recommendation letters are the last thing they look at before they grade you. It is the last scene of the movie, the last TV show in a series, the last chapter of a book. We need a strong ending. Teacher recommendations, very important. So now we're going to get to the calendar. Let us start with January, next month. Here's what's going to start. We're going to start our module called Guided Self-Analysis. We need you to understand you better, because if you don't understand you, you can't really find schools that fit you, no matter how much research you do about the school. If you don't know you, then it kind of can go like this. Doesn't match. Number 2, again, you have to sell yourself. You're the product. If you don't know your own product, they're not going to know it either. And number 3, with a better self-understanding, you're going to make better decisions in college and beyond. I think this is the foundation of what we do. It is basically 2 or 3 meetings. They're not hard. There's some homework. It takes like 5 minutes. But I think you'll find it eye-opening. And at the end of that guided self-analysis in around April, Mom and Dad will get a report on what we learned. But these are one-on-one with the students. Again, I said you'll be assigned a client manager next month, and the school meetings at your high school will start. So January, we're going to start the self-understanding. That will continue for a few months, but in February, we're going to focus on something else, on how to do research about the schools. We have lots of people who try very hard to do research. We have some people who don't try at all, but there are better ways to do it. Please, 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 please understand that what is on the website they wrote for their purposes. What you see and hear in the internet or the real world about these schools are pronouncements of information that came from the colleges. They don't know you. They certainly don't love you. They're not writing it for you. They're doing it for them. This is an education industry, but taking out the word education, it's still an industry. And there's a lot of bad information out there. and you guys start relying upon it. We don't want that to happen because, well, quite honestly, that does not make for good results. So I'm going to do a share screen, and I'm going to show you how crazy this can be. All right. We're going to talk about rankings for a moment. And again, chat function and Q&A for questions. Here we have Google. And I'm just going to, I was listening to Ian Dury last night. I'm going to put in U.S. News Rankings, University of Washington. I'm going to put national. See, U.S. News has multiple rankings. This is just the national ranking. They also have small liberal arts colleges. They have rankings for global. They have rankings for every subject. But we're just going to look at how UW ranks. Okay. So when we look at the national ranking, which will come up in a second, you will see that U.S. News puts the University of Washington at number 58. Right? Great. Let's go back. We're now going to put global, the other ranking. Now, if UW is number 58 in the world, how did it become number 16 in the world? Huh? Number 58 in America, but 16 in the world. That does not compute. Why? Because the rankings are designed around algorithms, mathematical formulae. And each school decides how they're going to manipulate their numbers. UW is in Seattle, which is on the Pacific Ocean. They like to get a lot of people from Asia if possible. They focus on the global rankings. Other schools focus on the national rankings. My point is, rankings don't tell you much. Rankings just tell you what stuff they want to know to try to get you to buy them, basically. So we're going to show you in February how to do better research, how to dig into the website and understand the structure of the curriculum, how to understand the philosophy of the school, not the mission statement, the philosophy, how to understand the curricular structures, how to understand how everything fits together, including clubs and what's off campus. We're also going to show you how to get a load of this. We want you to call the admissions offices and ask them questions. Yeah, they want you to call them. It feels weird, but every time students do, great things happen. They really start to understand things and everything fits together. And we want you to talk to students. We have a lot of former students. You probably know some people who go to these schools. Let's find out from the horse's mouth what it's like. But we're going to start working on research in February while we do the guided self-analysis. In March, we're going to continue these efforts. Now, it hasn't really changed because a lot of you go on spring break in March, if you can. But in April, it'll start to change. In April, they've announced what they've done for the prior class, and the colleges are turning towards you. So we'll have finished up the guided self-analysis basically by then. Mom and Dad will get a report from us on what we learned about the student, and we're going to start going in the direction of starting a college list based upon information we have learned in the GSA module. We will have a meeting with the entire family, at least the parents and our student, to give you our opinions about schools that you're considering and schools that we want you to research. They're not yet recommendations, it is research. You pay for our opinions, you deserve to hear them. Clearly, if you know anything about me or the others here, we give our opinions freely and honestly. And we will suggest schools. Like I said, there are quite literally 100 schools that are just as good as any in this country. We recommend over 250 out of the 2,000. Not for every student. Again, it's about 10 plus or minus, usually slightly more plus. But basically in April and May, we're going to move away from the GSA, start the first version of the college list, pull back a little bit. You've got end of year tests in school. We're going to make your life easier. But when school's out in June, we're going to turn to that personal statement. You belong to us. Okay, here's the deal. You can still travel as long as COVID and quarantine allows it. Again, it's called Wi-Fi and a desktop or laptop, I should say. I don't need to stare at you while you type. You don't need to stare at us while we edit. But we're going to get that personal statement. We're going to hop on it. And the thing is, the pieces are small. We don't really want you working on it for more than 30 minutes at a time. We need you to be loose and natural. And I want to tell you right now, the truth. The four great factors, the attributes, the aspects, the four things that make an essay great. Here we go. Number one, the right message. Let us assume you can communicate something well. We have to have the right something. In the case of the personal statement, it has to do about you individually and you within a group, but we'll explain it. But number one, let's make sure we have the right message. Number two, let's make sure we have the right structure. Essays of different lengths should have different structures based upon the way humans absorb. You don't write War and Peace with the same structure as the directions for making a bookshelf for IKEA. There's a different purpose. We have different structures. Number three, detail. Detail wins. I'll come back to detail in a moment. And number four, voice, not grammar, not style, punctuation, syntax, not linking verbs. Voice. They want to hear you. It's conversational. It should be relaxed, even fun. Those are the four pieces. But I need to talk to you for a moment about detail because you're not used to it. Detail is specificity. It is the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, the why. Because detail allows people to see something. Because to see something, you got to give them a thing, and the things are called nouns, and detail are nouns. As an example, we had a girl last year write, my friend was sad, so I bought her some candy. What'd you buy her? My friend was sad, so I bought her some Skittles and Kit Kats. Feels better. Detail wins. It is a clothing that allows them to see something, allows them to absorb your message in a better way. We'll get to that. But of all the things, please focus on getting detail. We'll make sure you do, but we want you to understand this. It's something that most people don't get, not at first. So I'm telling you now in advance so that later on I'm like, hey, let's talk about detail. Like, right, he told me about detail. Got it. Okay. So in June or July, we're going to do the personal statements. If possible, and you're in the US, we want it done before the July 4th barbecue because you know how happy everybody's going to be. If you really rock your personal statement and you've now got time, which means not only do you feel better, but your head's way clearer and you're much more useful to us if you get it done instead of just get stressed. You're going to multitask in grade 12. You just are. Let's get this big, scary personal statement out of the way and just done. We're going to focus on that. Then we're going to turn back towards your strategies, your schools, when to apply for what. We're going to start those supplemental essays, those shorter essays that each school wants. But also understand school is going to start again. And they're going to put pressure on you to do schoolwork. Please balance your college and your schoolwork. I'm not going to tell you to stop paying attention to your schoolwork because as a professional and as an adult, I need to tell you, do well in school. But here's the thing. If you don't do well in your applications, it doesn't matter. And frankly, most of what you do in grade 12, they're not going to see before they evaluate you because you're going to apply before the grades are ready. There are some strategies, but please understand that 12th grade first semester is a vortex. It will suck you up. I do not want to hear, oh, I have a test tomorrow and a paper there, and I can't do my work for 2 months. Fine. Don't blame us. There's going to be an attack at you. It's going to be hard. Let us work around you. Tell us when your exams are. Tell us when your stuff is. We'll work around it so that you can work in between it. But you've got to balance. You've got to pay attention. Otherwise, bad things happen. And speaking of bad things, early action, early decision. There's a myth out there. Earlier is better. Early gives you a coupon. It raises your odds. Yeah. First rule of admissions. There's over 2,000 universities. Do you think they all do it the same way? It changes from school to school. It changes from student to student. In some cases, applying early is better for you. Some cases, it's not. In most cases, it's not, no matter what they tell you. Why? Because it's your first time trying to write the essays. You want to give your hardest school the one you covet the most, your dream, you want to give them their first version, which is the least mature, or do you want to get better at this and give them the best one? They will read you in 5 to 7 minutes. That's all you get. Better be good. So in many cases, early is worse because you're not as good. In other cases, early is better. For example, your safety school, we call them solid schools. We want every school to be good for you. Get one of those in your pocket with a scholarship. Wow, mood goes up. You're going to college. They're paying me money. And when you're in a good mood, you do better work. So we're going to give you some strategies starting kind of the end of the summer. Try to keep an open mind. I don't want you to be like one of our students who for the last month keeps screaming at me through chat messages. Why on earth did I apply early to Harvard? Why did I do that? I'm like, I don't know. I told you not to. Why did I do that? It would have been better the other way. Yeah, I know. Who knew he should actually listen to the expert? Those were his words. But a lot of that will happen as summer ends and school begins. And hopefully your essay is done, the main essay. In September, October, you'll actually be filing some. Best time to file is not necessarily August 1st, depending on school. About September, October, you might file a few. You're going to start the supplemental essays. You're going to, if you're looking at the UK and Cambridge and Oxford, they have like October 15 deadlines usually. This is also a time to start your interview preparation. We want you to get this done in advance so that it's easy, so it's natural, so you have fun. Yes, I said fun. Our students love the interviews. This is why, for example, we make you call us by first name. This is why I'm known as Bob. Bill is Bill, etc. So you get used to us. So you be ready for the interviews. But please, when we say to you in newsletters or bulletins or emails or in person, you got to do your interview prep. Don't call us and say, hey, I got an interview tomorrow. What do I do? Well, we can do some limited things. Get in front of the game. The first deadline's usually around November 1, and then everybody hibernates because there's a lot of stuff you guys do by November 1. And they're like, good night. Now remember, your parents don't care about all the rest of the work. They just tend to care about that one personal statement, so they're not going to bother you quite in the same way. You're going to rest a little bit for the first week of November. That's all. 1 week. That is it. You got to keep moving. It's good for karma for any school you might have applied early. It's good for quality of work. It's totally good for sanity and for your health. Hibernate for a little, but just don't fall asleep. December, things are going to happen again. Now, all along, we'll be giving you deadlines, our deadlines. This has to be in 2 weeks before the due date at the latest. Why? To keep you ahead. And we're going to have some earlier deadlines for schools with a lot of essays and later deadlines for schools that don't. But we'll walk you through all this. Just don't expect a lot of help over the holiday. After Christmas for the new year, yeah, no, we are probably going to disappear from your life. Why? Because you can't get the best work. We're going to need more out of you almost every time. We're going to need more content. We're going to need to go back and forth. If there is no time, we can't help you. 3 years ago, I got a call from a girl on January 1st. My Stanford thing is due today. Can you brainstorm with me? No, there's just no time. So we're being parental. We're going to push you forward just so you get the best work, because no reason to do the lesser work. Then comes a little waiting period. Then come the decisions. Then comes the deposit. And for purpose of the day, there's my commentary. I know that's an hour and a couple minutes. It's a lot of stuff. Today's purpose is just to give you foreshadowing of what's going to happen. Month to month, sometimes week to week, we'll be telling you exactly what to do. We're going to make it easy. It's really a lot of work, but we don't want it to be so hard. So given that mom and dad are thinking, what are they going to do over the holiday this break? You know what you're going to do? Have fun. Relax. It's going to start in January. more worried about what you do next holiday season and to avoid messing up your last year together, because this will be the last year together. And we want it to be as positive as possible. So if parents have questions or issues, we are here for you too. We are not just here to support the students. You do not have to hide. You can stalk us too. That's a good thing. Okay, so again, in the Q&A in the chat, there are some questions, and you can add more. First question, when's a good time to start narrowing down college choices? After you've done the research, you've got a lot of time. We actually are expanding college choices now, and even up and through our college listening in May and after. After we kind of get through that main personal statement, you're just going to feel so much better. That's when we'll start to look at, okay, I really like these, and it'll be shuffling around. So right now, you're just barely putting the toe into the swimming pool to go in. Question about, this comes from one of our Floridians, I think. How much harder is to get into an out-of-state college? I'm from Georgia and really interested in FSU. That's an interesting question. Okay, there are two aspects of this. First of all, state universities are there for the people of that state. By the way, they're not cheaper. They're just as expensive as the most expensive private schools because you're not from the state. It varies from school to school. For our Floridians, getting into Georgia Tech is really hard. They don't have that many spaces. And for Georgians to get into a Florida school, it's a bit easier, not because the school is easier to get, but because those particular schools happen to want people from all around the country in a different way. So it varies. And this is where we want to give you advice as you get closer. But thinking about an out-of-state school as, well, that's a little bit better than my in-state public university choice, so I'll look at a public university outside of the state, and it's a little harder, but I'll be fine. Not necessarily. It's weird, and it changes every year, and you don't think COVID has changed things? Think about how much money they lost when people didn't go to school or took a gap year this year and maybe next year. Are there any timelines for financial support? Okay. Yes and no. There are forms to fill out, generally known as FAFSA or CSS profile. That usually happens around October 1st. It's not a drop dead date. That's kind of the open date. And we'll give you some guidance on all of that. But understanding the cost benefit analysis, seeking scholarships from the university is usually just part of your application. There's usually not extra work. It's kind of automatic. Outside scholarships are different. Your high school counselor will have a list of all kinds of larger scholarships that start August-ish. And they're a little quiet in the first semester. Around January 1, the outside scholarships tend to pick up. For those international students who are listening tonight, yes, there are scholarships available for international students. Absolutely. One of our guys got $76,000 yesterday. So there you go. All right. Next question. Okay. And then, oh, yeah. I wasn't surprised about the lawsuits. Okay. This is a question about some lawsuits that have happened against Harvard, and the Department of Justice is looking at Yale about the way our universities treat people of different ethnicities or nationalities or whatever. The truth is they're very open-minded. The truth is not that they dislike those who are not white. Truth is, tend to like you guys better if you're mixed for a couple of reasons. One, the schools love to brag about how many different kinds of people they have. It really helps for alumni donations. Another is that, they can get money from different places, but the most important is that people from different places, different philosophies, different experiences share. This is the contribution thing. Now, the toughest part about this is when those keep the mentality that is not an American point of view, meaning not that holistic evaluation. I have great test scores. I deserve it. No, you don't. No, you just have great test scores. Doesn't mean you're the person who's going to contribute. Doesn't make you a catalyst. Doesn't make you all that. Truth, my SAT wasn't that good. And by not that good, I'm not going to tell you, but it wasn't that good. Neither was Hermes, neither was Bill. We all went to the Ivies. Stanford rejects 90% of the perfect test scores. The mentality isn't, I'm very good in school. The mentality is, I can do the school and I can learn from the school, but I can give to the school too. For our best schools, it's a lifelong relationship, contribution. And so that's why they look at you holistically. And that's why we need to keep an open mind. Silly things on the activities list. For example, last year we had a girl write down as her 9th most important activity, she is a fish caretaker. She has tropical fish, always has, loves it. But it makes them smile. And if you can get them to like you, and that has nothing to do with performance and a very important, very worldwide thing. We even had one guy that says, potential athlete failed. He kept hurting himself. It's really kind of funny as you read it. But there is a different mentality than most people have. So there you go. It looks like we're running up against fatigue time. And by the way, over the next year, you will get tired. There will be times of year and even times of the month where you're just not able to do your best work. That's okay, but we do need your best work. So we're trying to get it before and after. Keep us involved. You're gonna get tired. Parents, do not believe that my little child can take care of it because he or she is just all that. Everybody gets tired. We get tired. We get cranky. It's gonna be a long year, but a short year. Takeaway from today's presentation. There's a lot of stuff. We want to guide you. Please just pay attention. We don't want you to think. Month to month, we'll tell you what to do. Don't worry, we've done this before. Usually around October 1st, we get the following. I have a question. What is it? I don't feel right. Why? I don't know. Is it because you're not freaked out and everybody around you is? Yeah, kinda. Am I doing everything? Yes. Are you sure? Yeah, done it literally over 1,000 times. Do it all day long. We're watching you. You're fine. Are you sure you're sure? Yes. Okay. That's what we want. We want you to be a little bit weirded out by the fact that, hey, this isn't so bad. You know when it gets bad? We don't pay attention. And I know that sounds a little bit rough, but I'm just trying to help you. We just want the best for you. See, old guy. I've had my college. Your parents have had your college. We're told to change the world, but you're not. And we want to be a part of that. We believe in you. We want to treat you like an adult. Welcome to our world. We've been waiting for you and we need you. We really do. And your university opportunity, your university experience is an amazing bridge from youth to adulthood. I can't tell you how our students just blossom in the right environment. And that gives us purpose in life. Every one of us had other jobs. We do this because we really do enjoy and even love helping you guys. So anytime you need anything, that's why we're here. We like it. It makes us happy. Don't feel like you're bothering us. Maybe you do, but we'll be okay. What bothers us is when we lose you. So to the extent that this seems a little bit much, it's just to show you some stuff. Forget about it. Relax. These are the pieces that we're going to give you anyway, but we wanted you to know in advance so that things don't slip. Because the more you hear something, the more you have context, the more it all kind of makes sense. So if you do have questions, let us know. Again, have a wonderful holiday season. We will answer questions for you, but we'll see you more in January. We are really excited to see what's going to happen in a good way, because it will be good. So signing off from the world headquarters of University Consultants of America, I am the founder, the CEO, the Chief Executive Visionary, and I'm here for you. We're all here for you. So have a good morning, Have a good evening. Let's have a good experience. Let's do this. See you guys later. Have a great night and day. Bye-bye.